Counting? Counting is one of the easiest things that you can learn in German, and I will prove that to you. If you're new here, my name is Mando and I'm a German teacher. Welcome to our third day of our 40-day challenge to learn basic German. In this video, we are going to learn how to count. All right, we are going to start off with the ones. Repeat after me. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At this point, you might be noticing a few things from our pronunciation rules that we learned last time. For example, the part where the combination of the letters I and E makes the sound E. For example, 7, 4. On the other hand, the combination of E and I make the sound 1, 2, 3. When the R is after a vowel, it makes the sound A, 4. Combination of the vowels E and U make the sound Oi, such as a 9. Did you also notice we didn't say 2, but we said 2? Did you hear 8? Not acht. Also 5. Not 5. At this point, I'm gonna give you 3 rules, and we will see later how these rules apply to specific examples. Rule number 1, when combining tens and ones together, we always start with the ones. I like to call this the reverse rule. Rule number 2, before the ending 10 and sich, we cannot have more than 4 letters. Rule number 3, when the word eins is before something else, it loses its S. Rule number 4, the number 30 ends with a sich and not a zich. All right, now let's take a look at the teens. Repeat after me. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, a few things here. We're noticing that 11 and 12 looks different than anything else. That's the same as English. Remember, 11 and 12 is different than everything else in the teens. The second thing we're noticing here is that what we do for the teens is that we start with a 1 and then we put the word 10 afterwards. The word 10 can mean either 10 or teen. So 13 means 13. The third thing that we're noticing is located in the numbers 16 and 17. One of our rules said that before the ending 10 or sich, we cannot have more than 4 letters. So we have to cut everything else. So we have to cut the S on the sech and the en on the sieben. Therefore, we say 16 and 17. One last thing that we're noticing is the word 20. We don't have 20. That 2 turns into 20. Now let's take a look at the tens. Repeat after me. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 or 100. So what we're noticing here is the ending sich. The ending sich is the equivalent to the English T. For example, 20, 30, 40. We are also noticing the number 30. Our fourth rule said the number 30 had to be different than everything else. So instead of saying 30, we have to say 30. And we have to use that B-looking letter that is equivalent to double S's. One last thing that we're noticing here is again the numbers 60 and 70. Our second rule said that when we have the ending sich or 10, we cannot have more than 4 letters before it. So we have to cut the S and the EN. We say 60 and 70. Now, what do we do if we want to combine tens and ones together? Aha! Our first rule said that we have to always start with a 1. So how would 25 be? We know that 5 is 5, and then we also know that 20 is 20. So would we just put 5 and then 20? Something is missing. I know what is missing, and that is the word und. Und means and. So what we have to do here is we have to start with a 1, we put the word und in between, and then we end with the word 20 with our 10. 25. How would 48 be? We start off with the ones. So the number 8 in German is acht. Then we know that the number 40 is 40. What do these two words need in between? The word und. So we say acht und 40. What about the word 51? Number 1 is the word eins. And number 50 is the word 50. Eins und 50. Is that right? Why is that not right? Our third rule says that if eins is before something else, then it has to lose its S. So instead of saying eins und 50, we say 51. Excellent job. Let's go ahead and start counting from 20. Repeat after me. 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I'm noticing one thing though. We did not cut the S and the EN from the word sechs and sieben. Is that right? Yes, it is. The words sechs and sieben are not directly before the ending sich or zehn. Then we do not need 4 letters. The second thing I'm noticing here is the word 30. We said that 30 in German does not end with sich, but with sich. The B-looking letter that is equivalent to double S's. So based on the rules that we just discussed, you can imagine how you can count up to 100. That was my goal for today, but I will give you a few tips for how to count past the number 100. After you reach the number 100, you can just combine hundreds and then ones and then tens. All right, we will start with this number, 101. What you have to do is that you would have to start with the hundreds, then with your ones, and then with your tens. What is our 100 here? 100. Then I'm going to move on with my 1, and that is eins. That's right. Then I will move on to my tens. My 10, though, is a 0, which means that I'm not putting anything after the word eins. How about 141? I will start again with my 100, and that is again 100. Then I'm going to move on to my 1, eins. Now I have to move on to my 10, and that is a 40. How is 40 in German? 40. That is correct. The word und, that is right. So after the word und, I have to make sure I write 40. Let's go ahead and do that. Is that right? Not quite. What is the problem in this word? At this point, I want you to keep in mind that everything I'm writing here is one word. Yes, this word looks huge, but that's how it's written. One of the rules said that when eins is before something else, has to remove its S. Therefore, we would just say 141. For the number 987, what do we start with? 900. 900. What's the next number I have to look at? Number 7. 7. What goes next? The word und. Und goes next. And last, the word 80. 80. 987. Why did I not have to cut the en on the word sieben? That's because the word sieben is not right before the ending sich. Next up, 536. I start with 500. Then I'm going to go ahead and write our number 6. Then I'm going to write the word und and then the word 30. So we're noticing that 30 ends with the ending sich and not the ending sich. At this point, I would like for you to pause this video, read the sentences, and write out each problem in numerals. Keep in mind the following. The word und means plus, the word minus means minus, the word mal means times, and the word durch means divided by. The word ist means is. At this point, I want you to pause the video again. This time, you are going to read the problems and write them out in German. And with that, you have completed the 3rd day of our 40-day challenge. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and hit the bell button so you do not miss our day number 4, and I cannot wait to see you next time. Auf Wiedersehen!